Hello everyone and welcome back at Chala from Crafting Through the Chaos of Life, and we are here with what I'm going to start calling Whip Wednesday, which basically is what's in production or work in progress, or kind of just, you know, really what's going on in my day and what I'm working on. So we have this book lovers journal that I need to get finished. I love this so much. And I thought we would create, oh my goodness, this ripped. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some fixing there. Okay, these things happen. We'll make it right. A little bit of a rip. So I'm gonna put this up here for now, and I'll deal with that later. So we have this gorgeous journal, and I need to get the journal cards in, and yeah, just get it kind of put together and finished up. I will let you know there is a playlist for this journal, so if you want to see it from the start, definitely go ahead and check that out. But yeah, so what I really need to do is I wanted to, let's try speaking again, this time slowly with thoughts in order and in English. I have created some fun card catalog cards. Now, these are just done on Rolodex, but you can do them, you know, basically any way you want. I just thought it'd be fun to use these old Rolodex cards. And I did some typing and some stamping, and I think they look really cool. Now, the ones that I used, I got from my mom. Thanks, Mom. And it looks like our lighting is just a little bit kind of crazy. Hopefully that settles down. I wonder, there we go. Okay, so this is called the Rolodex Necessities. It's printer cards. It is, I don't know how old this is. Like, I'm assuming really old, because when I looked to try to get it on Amazon, it was showing something similar to this, but for $50, and that's ridiculous. We're not going to pay that. So if you find these cards in your Goodwill, pick them up. These ones in particular are not as thick as the real Rolodex cards. They have a thicker feel to them, but they do work. And yeah, you get, they're 2.5 inches by 4 inches, and in here you get 240 cards. So if you happen to find something like this at your local thrift shop, definitely pick it up, because it's going to be a lot cheaper than what it would be, say, on Amazon. I am going to show you an even better, cheaper way to do this without this. So just for instance, I just want to show you that it does come as white, and what I did is I printed some vintage digital over top of it. So you can see here, this is what I have left over, and this in particular digital had this cool coffee stain on it. I think that's going to look cool when I get to that card. I did find these a little hard to work with in my typewriter, only because I couldn't see where each card starts and ends, and so the first card I made, I actually was typing off of it. Maybe I could rip them apart first. I just think that working with the larger papers is a lot easier than you know, ripping them out one by one. But, you know, that's just a thought. You can print vintage type looking papers over top of them to make them look older, and then I inked up the edges. So let's show you my thrifty version of these. You don't need to purchase this stuff at all. This is just something that my mom you know, had, and I asked if she had any. Of course she did, and if I could use them. Okay, so 2.5 inches by 4 inches. I have this scrap piece of cardstock. We all have lots of leftover scrap pieces for what we're working with. I mean, I have this as well I could cut up and use. So let's go ahead and work with this one. So we want it 2.25 inches by 4 inches. Okay, I think we're close. What is this measuring? This measures 2 3/4. I mean, you don't have to have them this small, you can have them bigger, but let's just cut it to what these are saying. So 4 inches, this, by 2 1/4 inches, just like that. Okay. The next thing we want to do, original library catalog cards don't have the 2 little notches like this. They actually only have one, and this does not look like it's straight, so I'm going to straighten that out a bit. Yeah, they only have one hole in the middle because it was like a rod that went right through them. If you ever had to change those out, it was a pain. I used to volunteer in the library in elementary school, and we would work on Rolodex cards or these card catalog cards. Now, the other thing is if you do have a typewriter, don't worry about making mistakes, because card catalog cards were often handwritten or they were typed, and they often had mistakes. And so this one, I ended up, I don't know how I got it as New York, where the W where it was actually an R, and I just hand wrote over top of it, correcting it like they would, because there's, if you look at them on Pinterest, you'll see that they have stamps on them, they have handwriting, they have corrections, that sort of thing, and that's what makes them really fun and unique. So don't worry if you make a mistake in spelling something, just handwrite over it, and it's authentic at that point. Okay? Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to have some numbers and stuff. So if you don't have a typewriter, go ahead and pull out some number stamps that you have. So in looking what I have this one would be really good, and this is from the Field Notes. So there's this stamp that would work really well that we could put on there. You can actually print out on your computer using you know, a vintage font, like a Courier font or something like that, Times New Roman, you know, whatever font you want. I think there's a typewriter one as well. That one might also work. Yeah, just really doesn't matter, just numbers to kind of make it look, you know, more authentic. I also have this one here. This is the Sign Here stamp set by Kathy Holden. It's got some good ones, inspected, approved, as found. Yeah, there's other numbers on here that you could use. That would be cool. What else? I have some from other Tim Holtz sets, just like random numbers. I mean, you get the idea. It's not rocket science. So again, you can handwrite them, add some stamping. You can type them out on your computer on cardstock and then cut them up into the cards. You can use pre-purchased cards like these. Yeah, there really is no limit to this. So I'm basically just going to put in random numbers and letters, the author of the book, just some information about, you know, the publishing of it, and just some random information. You can actually look online to do these as well, to get some ideas of what to put on them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my typewriter, I'm going to type up some fun things, and then I'm going to come back. I'm not going to show you that process because I can't really set it up for you guys to see, but I do have an old vintage typewriter that I love to play with and make things with. So I'm going to quickly go type some random stuff on here, but first let's put in our hole. Okay, so let's try to actually get it somewhat centered. So this is 4 inches, the 2-inch mark is about there. Okay, so I'm going to put my hole, I always hold this thing upside down, right about there. Okay, and I also want to round the corners because these ones are rounded. It's a little more authentic looking. Again, you don't have to. And I think I'll just use my small punch here. There we go. And we literally have a card catalog card ready to go. Now you're going to type, you're going to write, you're going to do whatever you want on it, grunge it up with some ink. So I'm going to be back after I've typed some stuff on it. So hang tough for 1 second. Okay, so I finished doing another little card, just typing up. I just found this one off of the internet, just kind of copied it. I couldn't fit the 2 on there, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. And I do have a spelling error, and we're going to go ahead and just grunge this up, stamp it up, and make it look cool. So, all right, to fix our first mistake, I wrote the foon art of literary mayhem. So I'm going to make that fine art. So really just going over with a pen, because that's what they would do. And then I didn't get, the other one was author's English. So I'm just going to handwrite that in to author's, comma, English. Okay, and again, that's what they would do. And then maybe they would have something on the side here that says A365. We'll say, I don't know what that stands for, but you know, they write on it and they move things around all the time. That's kind of what they did. I'm going to do a red number here. I think that would look cool. So this is from a Tim Holtz stamp set. And this one is kind of like Dewey Decimal numbers. So we will just put that maybe right about there. Okay, I like the look of that. And now we are just going to grunge it up. I'm going to bring out my little waffle flower inking mat here. I love this. I find that if I ink on my glass mat, I end up putting stuff over top of it and it gets all, you know, gets ink transferred where I don't want it to, especially on my clothing, which is, I mean, I try not to wear anything too nice here in the old craft space, but there is occasions where if I'm working from home and I get an idea, I will zip down to my craft room, and depending on if I'm wearing clothes for, like, you know, work clothes for Zoom meetings and stuff, I don't necessarily want those to get all grunged up. Okay, and then I'm just going to, actually I want to use a coffee stain stencil. I think that would look really nice. And I have some. Oh, and I did get, I know, I went a whole year without buying anything, and then here I am in a new year and I'm buying stuff. But I got them cheap. I got them at Temu. This one I really love. I've used it. I used it on the pocket of, for a journal that's coming up that you'll see, but isn't that cool? I just love these. And then there's this one. Let's take it out so you can see it, because it's beautiful. It's like postage kind of theme, postage and text. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I got these two to play with. I don't necessarily want that stuff on there. I just want the coffee stain. So I'm going to use just these ones here that have like the splatters and stains. And I know I have a coffee cup looking one right there. Is that going to be too big? Maybe. Well, you know what? I'm looking actually at one of these new stamps, and there is a little tinier kind of coffee stamp. Oops, stamp one down here. Maybe let's use that. Maybe right there. Actually, I'm not going to use that. I like to use, for my stencils, I like to use these brushes. I'll just do that on there. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I like that. Little dots and stuff. Okay, fun. Wonderful. I think my feeling about purchasing stuff because as long as I'm going to be using it more than once, I think it's fine. Ideally, we don't want to have to spend things. So if you want the coffee cup look without spending, you know, money on stencils, use a toilet paper roll, dip it in your ink, and then just kind of plop it down, or dip it in some coffee and then pop it down, or tea, or what have you. I mean, you can mark make without stencils. Make your own stencils, create your own mark making tools, right? That's really what this is all about. Okay, and then I'm going to continue just to grunge this up a bit. There. How cool does that look? And it's just a fun little journaling card. Okay, well, I mean, I could show you how to do this 55 different times, but I think you guys like really get the gist of it. Again, this is just kind of a quick video to try to get your mojo going, ideas to create new things, and I think this is a lot of fun. Again, add some different colors of inks to your items for stamping. I mean, what else could we put on here? I had one, oh here. Let's do as found in blue on here. Let's just add one more, because I think that would be cool. Actually, let's use approved, because I haven't used that one. I used as found on here. So let's just use approved from this little stamp set. Again, the more layers and the more things that you put on top, I think it's fun. And you know what? Let's just add some pencil on there. Maybe let's write with pencil, broken spine. I mean, they could just be noting that the spine on that book needs to be fixed. I think that's cool. All right, my friends. Well, I hope you found today's video interesting. I know it's a short one, but sometimes that's also appreciated. I know you guys have lots to do, and I'd rather have you spend your time in your craft areas making things rather than, you know, spending it watching me. Although I do love you and I do appreciate that you're spending your time watching me. But again, it's about creating. Let's get you out there creating. So these are the little fun card catalog cards that we have created for this awesome little book lovers junk journal. All right, I have some fixing to do here. I will come back on camera for the next video and show you how I fix that, and then we're going to start decorating the inside of this bad boy, putting everything together that we have made. And yeah, that'll be our next video. So thank you so much for joining me today for a very quick video. Happy crafting, and P.S. I love you.